Hi, John.
Hey, Alex.
Do you want to hear a joke?
Oh, sure.
Knock, 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 knock.
Who is there?
I don't know, some dumb shit, stupid fake message all over the place, stupid movie that idiots got behind. Aren't you glad I
Oh,
didn't say banana?
yes.
Anyway, we watched Joker.
Tomorrow comes, tomorrow goes, but the cloud remains the same. Wonder why he's feeling down. Tears of a cloud. Maybe it's all just for the best. Lay his weary head to rest. Was forever feeling drowned. Tears of a cloud.
Oh boy, why so serious?
We do live in a society. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
that.
I picked up on that. Sure, fuck this movie. Not fuck this movie. I'm gonna have to like, try to rein myself in for my hatred of this movie because I don't hate this movie. It's irritating though, like because I think it's like almost good, but it's just shitty enough that it annoys me. Like the tone is just that little bit off. Its message in italics is off. Like it's just a little skewed. The fact that Mark Maron's in it kind of that makes it drop a
That's
full
never
letter
fun
grade.
for anybody.
Yeah, I mean it's ugh.
I'm not sure I agree with you about the message, but I definitely understand that feeling. I mean, that's been so much of the show is the movies I get so irritated at are the movies that are like, oh, you were just there and you fucked it up so remarkably in that small little amount. I actually kind of like this movie. I think it fell victim to a lot of things upon its release in terms of the public worry and reaction to it pre its release and right afterwards. But we can get into that a little bit. It's good. It's not great. I think it's definitely overblown a little bit in that department. And it's also something that because this movie pays so much on the face homages to Martin Scorsese, I'm just gonna go watch those movies.
I got a lot. Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch Mean Street or Mean Streets or Taxi Driver or King of Comedy.
That was a lot of my takeaway too, where what it was referencing just made me want to watch that. And then its insistence on kind of repeating itself just got really old. Like, I mean, 40% of this movie is him doing weird alien poses with his shirt off.
Now, see that was initially the reason why I really wanted to see this movie. I think Joaquin Phoenix is a fantastic actor, and I also think he's a big bizarre weirdo. And
yep, correct on both counts. Yeah,
having watched You Were Never Really Here, which is another movie that has a lot of similarities with this one, where he gained a bunch of weight and got all weird in that one. I was like, oh, he's gonna get super creepy skinny and do weird stuff with his body in this one. Count me in. And so on that level, I was definitely
I enjoyed that the first. Okay, so if there's going to say like 7 scenes with him with his shirt off, I'm going to say maybe 6.
not enough.
I'd chew, and they would be really effective because there's a couple of them that I'm like, oh my god, that's like the way he moves his body is alien and very cool. But you can only do that. It's like watching a horror movie where you show like the monster too many times and it loses all of its, oomph. Where it's like, yeah, we get it. You're fucking thin and your shoulders do weird things. It just, I don't know. After a while,
I couldn't get enough.
Oh boy, yeah,
it's awful. So it made me very happy.
Yeah, it just, yeah, and the fact that there wasn't much else going on in the movie other than that, we're just like, all right, we have enough of this. It's a 2-hour movie. It's a pretty fat 2-hour movie. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be in it, and a lot of it is him dancing. Most of it's dancing. So there's 40% shirtlessness, 20% of which involves dancing, and then there's an extra 15% on top of that that's suit wearing dancing.
Did you just watch Footloose by mistake?
No.
Is that what happened?
Well, I wish fucking Kevin Bacon, voom. He was in Footloose, right?
No, yes.
You know what's interesting is here's something to admit on the show. I've never seen Footloose.
Oh wow!
Like I know what it is. I've seen a lot of. I've watched the John Lithgow scenes because I like him a lot. I've seen a couple of the dance, numbers or whatever, but I've never actually sat down and watched Footloose. And I probably never will.
Yeah, you're missing out on a great tractor race.
I know about the tractor race because it's been spoofed.
Yeah, but you know about the tractor race, but you haven't experienced the tractor race. I need you to take these pills that will give you my memories of watching the tractor race.
Oh God!
That's the only way you can really understand.
Have we gone full Rick and Morty?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It's Watchmen.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that sounded like a shitty Rick, but actually,
Weird that sounded shitty.
there's us shitting on both Watchmen and two wildly popular shows. Yeah. John, I'm here. Take these pills. We'll watch Footloose. That's my Rick impression. All right. So wait, back to the Joker. So we start off the movie and we see the old red Warner Brothers logo, which
designed by Saul Bass.
is that true?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just learned that in reading about this movie.
Well, I was like, oh, that's cool. I haven't seen the old Warner Brothers logo in a while. That's neat to see. And then it's sort of like as they kind of establish the 1970s New York vibe to this, that logo hung heavy of, oh, I see what this movie's doing. Like it's Tarantino without the wit, of just like, oh, this is going to be a period piece, not a period piece, but you get what I'm trying to get at.
I know what you're saying. Like we were saying already, like it wears its influences pretty openly.
Yeah.
And not in a really transformative way.
And it opens.
It makes it more interesting.
Yeah, and it opens with this him putting on the makeup, which looks good. Well, by the way, I'm shitting on the movie a lot, but mostly because I'm disappointed in it. I'd rather watch a movie that's really bad than a movie that's just like, took a swing. But so it opening with beautiful shot of him putting on his makeup, and they're like, oh, we're in the middle of a garbage strike, and you've got this shitty, smelly New York. I guess it's Gotham, but.
Right.
It's a nice intro, but it just I think it kind of, especially when they get to the who is that Getz guy? Bernie Getz. Like when they get to that scene, like and he's too much of a coward so he's got white kids in the Bernie Getz role. It's just fuck this movie. Forget it. I take it back. I hate this movie.
Well, okay. See, here's.
Sorry, I'm out of order too. Yeah, you start. You tell me what we should talk about. I'm just gonna respond to you.
The thing with at the beginning where he's performing as a clown on the street, like with a going out of business sign, trying to get people to come to a business, and these punk kids steal his sign, run away. He chases after them, and then they beat the shit out of him, and then it says Joker on the screen.
Yeah.
And there's a film critic who normally I respect a lot, Richard Brody, who decided that was supposed to be a reference to the fucking Central Park 5, which was just completely asinine. There was so much fear mongering about this movie before it came out. Like all these people being like, oh my God, there's going to be shootings in the theater. And it was so unfounded and stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, I would say that I would argue that it's even dumber than Lady Ghostbuster stuff. And Lady Ghostbuster stuff is extremely dumb. But that kind of like that fear mongering that's supposed to take place of, I don't believe that this is a white male rage movie. This isn't Falling Down, because he even says like, they're kids, I got jumped by some kids. They're kids. What am I going to do about it? He specifically sort of ignores that rather than being like these like Travis Bickle is at least very racist. So in some ways the movie maybe pulled its punches too much in that regard. If you want to make a really sort of misanthropic character.
Well, that's actually what I was thinking is that this movie, and I'm not one of those like get upset because, oh, look, everybody's white in the movie. Everybody's like, the color barrier. I'm so woke, I don't care. But this movie and its complete lack of color when it comes to negative people kind of hung heavy, because I think that's like New York in the 70s, 80s was racially on the edge or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the tenor of the city. And especially when you're dealing with this movie is based on class relations, there's color in that as well. So to have this movie be just pure white, I don't know. It just hung, and I'm not trying to be like woke warrior because I'm actually saying it hung weird to me.
Yeah, but I think you're because it's trying to be more of a class-based thing. I think it's dealing with people in power, and those people in power tend to be white. I mean,
I didn't mean them. I just mean like the. I mean, I guess the kids weren't all white, but the kids, the douchey guys in the subway were all white. Murray's white. Like, it's just, I don't know. It felt, I guess maybe it's just because I grew up in the kind of, I'm doing I grew up in New York thing, but it just felt, I don't know. It didn't feel, oh, who gives a shit? This is all getting cut anyway. Hey, look, a white guy's talking about race. This movie felt, incomplete as a narrative in that way, and whatever that means,
Yeah, but I think like again, you look at the movies that this is, I almost said parodying, but like that really draws its influence from is that those are predominantly white movies as well.
But that was from the 70s. That's what I'm saying. Like, we should be past
Right, but
that
this is
now.
supposed to be the 70s.
Yeah, I know,
like,
but there's a difference between, but make a modern movie in a 70s aesthetic. Don't, like, if you, like, in 2020, if you make a movie set in 1920, you don't put somebody in blackface because we've learned lessons. So if you're making a movie about
I think that's a very different thing. I think having, particularly like you said, like this is a more class-based thing, and so the people that he runs into, because a lot of the black characters that he meets are clerks, are people in the system as well. There's Brian Tyree Henry in as like the guy in the mental institution. There's his social worker at the beginning, and then the doctor at the end. That's his only interaction with that, really.
Yeah.
I get your point, but like in the same way that the Zazie Beetz thing is there on two levels as being I think in one way almost a buffer against the white male rage thing, but then as his girlfriend, imaginary girlfriend, but also is standing in for the actress from she's in I'm forgetting her name. She's in King of Comedy, and she's a love interest in King of Comedy, and then she has a small part in Taxi Driver. But Diane Abbott is the actress's name. So it's again this sort of like, for feeling like someone just watched King of Comedy and then made this movie.
Yeah.
That certainly feels like a big part there.
Yeah. It's a lot, but on a positive note, I'm thankful to the universe that I live in a time with Zazie Beetz.
Absolutely. I think she's wonderful.
She elevates everything she shows up in. She just has energy about her. And I'm so glad she's young, like that she's going to be like, I'm looking forward to being an old man and seeing old lady Zazie Beetz roles. Cause that lady she's just got that movie star aesthetic to her. Movie star is the wrong term, but that kind of just energetic, like boy, like
she's got it, baby.
She's got it. She's got that kind of, I'm trying to think of like because Zazie Beetz is traditionally attractive, but like in the 70s to be a non-traditionally attractive person, you're like, wow, like a Margot Kidder, where you're just like, right, I really want to look at you for some reason. Like there's just something about you. You're fucking big. Yeah, Zazie Beetz is the fucking shit.
But like, and speaking of, I mentioned Brian Tyree Henry, who's they're both on Atlanta, which is a great show, and I recommend that. But he's got a bit role in this, and I love that actor. I think he's so great. He's the heavy in Widows, but I just fell in love with him in Atlanta, and I'm always excited to see him in things. And this movie is full of great that guy actors. Show favorite Shea Whigham is in this as one of the detectives.
Oh yeah, what do I know him from?
You know him from, well, you would primarily know him from Radio Free Albemuth. He was the guy in Port of Call.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
The like, oh yeah guy.
Yeah. I like when he was on
True Detective. He's on Boardwalk Empire. Just a phenomenal.
I should have said, what do I know him from? John Alex Hates Up, because when he showed up, I went, that's that guy from something else I've talked about, and I couldn't put.
He's been in a couple of things that we've watched.
I could,
and also Glenn Fleshler, who was Randall, the coworker that gives him the gun. He was in True Detective. It's great. Barry. He is in the show. I was just watching the show Neon Joe Werewolf Hunter, where he's in it, and he plays a member of a white supremacist gang that converts to Judaism and changes their names from like the White Knights to the Chosen Oive Matzo Ball Gang. And he's what a great number one in that as well.
Yeah, and then Mark Maron, famous for locking the gates and being a dick to people and then apologizing to them on a podcast and somehow be getting famous from it.
Yep, that's how it works.
Yeah, great. That's good. I'm glad I lived.
All just a preview. The first 100 episodes are us doing movie reviews, and the second 100 episodes are us apologizing to people that we've wronged.
I wish I had the foresight to be just a cock puncher for 20 years, so I can apologize to my friends on air and somehow be I fucking hate Mark Maron.
If only you were a little bit worse. This movie is also interesting in that, like, there's this, all these DC movies have tried to be all like dark and serious or whatever. And this kind of feels more like this was another movie and they went, what if we made it the Joker?
Absolutely.
And it's still like, I still think it works. Because I don't think it's the Joker that, like, it's not the Heath Ledger, I'm into chaos, but I'm always one step ahead of you in some whatever weird plan I have. It's still worked for me because I thought it took the characters that already existed and kind of tweaked them a little bit and like changed, like the Waynes a lot. Because I remember one of my big complaints about Batman Begins was that how just glorious and perfect Thomas Wayne was, and how much I hated that, because like the city is shit because of this guy. Like his whole thing was like, I want to have a train where people can see where I live, like MC Hammer. And the movie presents him as like this real great dude. And I like that this movie went like, no, Thomas Wayne sucks.
Yeah, it's a problem I've had with the Batman character for a while. I'm going to get back to how much I hate that this movie is about the Joker, but that Batman essentially is a billionaire that beats up poor people.
Yeah.
Is his character. Well, this movie he's a billionaire that's propping up generational beating up of poor people.
Right. Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah.
But I do like that the through line with him where after Arthur Fleck kills those guys on the subway, and Thomas Wayne, who's talking about running for mayor and wants to do this whole like tough on crime thing, is like, oh, these clowns that think they're better than they are, and this really kind of like, you lowly awful people. And so all these people take on this like clown persona as a fuck you to him.
Yeah.
But then he starts the Arthur Fleck starts taking it on as this like, they're supporting me. Like his big fantasy at the end is that like, you know, the cop is like, you're the cause of all this. And he's like, you bet I am.
Yeah.
That he finally found the connection he's been looking for this entire movie.
Well, I think they're playing off the deplorables thing with the Trump supporters, you know, where they started owning it. But
I think it's a little bit different than that, because this is a movie about this guy that like desperately longs to connect with people. And instead of finding the and he's completely, you know, being wronged by everybody. All the people he held in esteem have screwed him over and all this stuff. And so then rather than finding solidarity with all these people who also feel put upon and whatever, he's an insane narcissist and just an insane person. He can't make that connection. And so he just gets further alienated into violence and nihilism.
Yeah. It's part of the thing. I have a hard time responding to that, because part of the thing that I don't like about this movie is, we talked about the message being mixed, is it doesn't make a lot of sense, the kind of clowns as kind of the arbiter, the 99%, the Occupy Wall Street type, you know, if we to go back a few years. Them kind of owning it is a kind of Trumpy deplorables thing, but then they're going, I don't know, the message didn't run quite right of them being inspired by the Joker or inspired by this.
I don't think they were.
But why? No, but they were wearing clown masks.
Well, they were inspired by Thomas Wayne calling them all jokers and being like, you know, like, you people don't. I don't remember what his line is exactly.
Well, yeah, I call them a bunch of clowns, but yeah, I don't know.
Because like they want something for nothing and blah blah blah. And meanwhile, they're in the middle of this garbage strike. All this other shit is getting cut. All these social services.
Yeah, but I mean, it's based on the murder on the train, but it's not like that murder was, you know, I mean, I guess those kids are put off as like being like wealthy kids, and that's where they're on a subway.
Yeah, but I think the clown stuff is in more reaction to what he said rather than the murder on the train. It's fair enough that could be a little confusing, but
I just think it's muddy the message wise. Yeah,
but I think for Arthur, since you're seeing so much of this as Arthur Fleck through Arthur Fleck. Which I thought the movie, actually, the cinematography in this movie is really pretty for as grimy as it is.
Yeah.
But it also does a really good job, I think, of keeping you with Arthur Fleck in terms of, there are so many shots where he's at the beginning where he's very tiny in the frame compared to the giant city around him, or like these super close-ups with shallow depths of field. Sometimes I think, I almost want to say it's in post-production exaggerated, where like so much of the world around him is blurry. I think the scene in particular, and this is a very minor thing, but when he's on the train reading the paper, and I think this is after he gets the revelation about Thomas Wayne possibly being his father. So like there's just I noticed how shallow the depth of the field was in terms of like when things become more fuzzy versus when they're in focus.
Yeah.
And I started trying to look for that a little bit more.
Well, that's the kind of the running theme of the film. I mean, that's the, you know, the metaphor of it, of like, you know, as the movie goes on, of him becoming more clear as he gets off drugs, and because it changes the way they shoot him, and they change the way that he laughs at things and the way the audio works.
But I think it's also like, is him getting a little bit of power back of being so less put upon, and in a way that I think is not celebratory, which is why I think there's all this dancing that is creepy and strange, because every time he dances after some bad stuff happens usually. And it's like he's sort of reveling in that, and it's like, okay, he's coming into himself, but that's not good.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about it now, but the thing that bothers, and I am not one of those, well, it affects me so I'm annoyed people, but as somebody that is had a lifelong struggle with a mental health disorder. This movie is not kind to my people. It is an ugly depiction of the whole deal. Just, well, you're a cuckoo bananas. You stop taking your pills, you murder people. Oh no, you murder people, so you stop. It's just, I didn't like it.
See, I would disagree. Like I understand what you're saying, but I think that the larger issue it presents is the lack of support for people that have that, and that his mental illness. I don't think his mental illness made him kill. I think because particularly on the subway, when he is like waiting for that guy to come out and then following him and shooting him, like that is this planned, like executed thing. And I think, obviously, like he's the victim of so much stuff leading up to this, being chained to a radiator and beaten and all this stuff. But I don't think it's like he's like, I'm going crazy and I'm doing this stuff. I think that's almost when he's the most clear-headed, is when he's murdering people.
Yeah, but it's just, and then he starts coming off drugs, and he becomes clearer, better. He's got better elocution, and like, I don't know, it made me really uncomfortable the way they depicted mental health. And not in like the way they were trying to get. I shouldn't even say that. I don't think this movie has a point, and maybe that's what I'm dancing here. Every point it makes is just kind of undercut by something else in it, and I just don't know if it says anything.
See, I disagree. I think it makes its point almost too heavy-handedly.
No, but that's what I mean. But there's no overarching thing. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm having a hard time articulating it.
No, I get it. That's welcome to about 70 episodes of the show.
But it's making it, I guess there's no depth to the point is kind of what I'm going with. So it's kind of undercut it. So yeah, just at any point it makes it surface level and could be argued against. And I don't know. It just kind of like sits there for me.
See, I don't think it's that surface level as much as it is, like I said, like so heavy-handed that it gets a little trying. Where it is this guy who is just at every turn is put upon in some way or another, like all these different things are failing him, but he himself is alienated and weird and unpleasant to be around in a lot of different ways.
I mean, I guess all right, let's start from step one. He is somehow affording an apartment in Ursat's Manhattan. I
mean, also Manhattan, I don't know, but I mean, I'm sure she's on like some sort of Social Security something.
But what I mean is he has the ability to pay for his pills, food, for another woman that's also infirm, off of a semi-clown job. Like, I'm not saying his life is good, but like, he's kind of keeping his feet on the ground. And this goes back to the mental health thing of like, he's actually doing pretty well for himself for somebody that's struggling that bad.
But I think that's because he's getting a lot of social support. That's what, I mean, he's getting his medication through whatever program that this is, because it's when it's getting cut, she's like, we're losing this program. And he's like, where am I getting my medicine? She's not just like, oh, we'll just move it to another pharmacy. Like, he doesn't have access to this stuff anymore. And I mean, like the real estate market wasn't as ravaged in this fictional place at this time as it is now. I was about ready to make this point. I'm like, wait, Gotham, is it real?
Yeah, he did have his medicine pulled, but up until this point, he's 40. Let's just say, just for the hell of it, that's whatever. He's 40. He hasn't really been like, he had a shitty childhood, doing pretty well for himself. Like, as far as like bad circumstances, but I don't know. I keep falling back on I don't know, but
living alone with his mother.
Yeah.
That he bathes after suffering abuse at her hands for years that he doesn't remember.
But what I'm saying is, given the depth of his mental health issues, the fact that he's that self-sufficient just kind of goes against what happens later in the film, I guess. Is that I would almost want his mother to take care of him more, to have the reality of this sit better with me, or have social workers check in on him instead of him going to one just to get medicine. Like, it seems, I don't know. It seems sudden in its breakdown. Because that's like, if you have that depth of mental health issues, he's doing remarkably well. Like, he's on his feet. He's got a job every day. That's good for you. Like, that's great.
Like, we don't really know how good he is at his job.
Well, he's fucking terrible. No, we know how good he is. He's terrible at it, which adds to it. How great is this?
that's his job, is being a guy that flips signs, and he's bad at it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like being on his feet is a great way to describe that.
Again, this is one of those, I shouldn't do the, well, coming from somebody, but
Yeah.
sometimes I can barely make it to work in the morning. And I'm not a fifth as bad off as he is mental health wise.
Right.
I'm just saying I'm proud of Arthur and how well he did up until the end there.
I was gonna say, so for the first 20 minutes, he's doing fine. Stay the course, good buddy.
Yeah, it's just what I know. I'm being a little flippant with it, but the change from that to him being a murderous guy doesn't feel like a natural progression. In that he didn't leave his meds first. He just snapped for reasons, and those reasons aren't abundantly clear to me.
I think those reasons are deeply enumerated. Where it's his he's the super lonely, alienated guy to begin with.
Yeah.
He
Shaq,
gets beaten up by
Alex,
his kids.
yeah.
His buddy, his reactionary buddy, gives him a gun that him being an idiot takes into a children's hospital, and then gets drops it and gets found out, loses his job that way. Is this struggling stand-up comedian who's like wants to be funny in love but cannot connect with people, finds out that his mother is writing all these letters to Thomas Wayne because he's secretly been his father. So his mom's been lying to him this whole time. He goes to find his father. His father wants nothing to do with him. And then his father's like, no, it's not even true. Your mom's a nut job, and she's been lying to you this whole time. He's being made fun of by his idol on television. So all these support systems that he have are going away under him.
But I think a significant amount happened after he killed those people.
Yes, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. He snapped before, like Murray made fun of him after the murders, right?
Yes, yeah, because he pursues the stand up more after.
But I'm saying half of the listeners of the things you just said that would make him snap happened after he snapped.
Right, but I guess I don't think that is snapping.
Murdering multiple people on a subway.
Yeah, I don't think that in terms of like a mental breakdown. I don't think for what this movie is and like how.
Okay, yeah, I guess I should probably work. Yeah, you're right. Saying snap is the wrong term. What I'm saying is that it doesn't feel natural to the character to murder people on a subway, given the way that he's kept himself in somewhat together shape. In a very for the life he's living, he has kept himself moving forward. Moving from that to killing people on a subway. If he had murdered people on the subway after his ersatz father figure stroke hero Murray made fun of him, I'd feel like it made more sense to the character.
But I mean, do you like he kills his people on the subway and then it's not an issue for him?
No, but the fact that he made it to the point that he killed people, his discovery that it doesn't mean anything for him, that makes sense to the character. I'm fine with that. It's that when it happens, it just doesn't feel like he got pushed to a breaking point enough for that to be a thing. I kind of want more behind that thing, or okay. I don't understand the character to begin with.
I guess I just don't agree just because this is like the second time within a let's say a week that he got the shit kicked out of him, and he has a gun.
Well,
and he's an alienated weirdo that people already don't like, and he's already showing signs of.
He doesn't he doesn't understand what's funny or not. He obviously can't read a room in that way. He's well medicated. And then decides to kill people on a subway. I don't know. It feels like that should have happened after another incident. Because he got his ass kicked, but he went, they're just a couple kids.
Right. I guess I don't feel like his murder is a direct result of his mental illness, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think the movie is positing that like his craziness is causing him to do this murder. I think the craziness and unstableness is a symptom of that, of this further alienation and anger. But I don't think it's like he didn't take this pill today, so he's murdering people now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to come to court on it because also.
No, I mean, I totally see what you're saying.
But he also, in his mind, when he murdered those people, he has a cool girlfriend. So I guess, yeah. So, I got a cool girlfriend. Oh yeah, I guess I'll go murder some people on a subway. Like that doesn't track to me. But wait, going back. Because we're not getting anywhere here, spinning wheels, going back to the point I wanted to make earlier. Him being Joker and being a Batman related, and it's my fault for having read Batman books, does take away from this movie for me. Because that in no way is the Joker as a character. He's not smart. He's not plotting. None of this tracks with the character that we know from the books. And you should wipe your mind and go into every movie fresh. And I'm arguing against myself here because but that's not the Joker. He can barely write a sentence. He's not a bright guy. That's not Joker. And I would rather this movie be called Clown and not have it just change the last name of the rich people that get killed. And I think it adds to it. But having that baggage on it makes me not relate to the character even more because it's so disparate from the one that I'm familiar with.
Well, so I mean, there's Jack Nicholson as the Joker, who is a lot more just like let's go paint art museums weird and dance around to Prince. There was Cesar Romero as the Joker, which was let's terrorize Burt Ward and Adam West. I mean, there have been a wide variety of Jokers over the years.
Well, I know you like going with I know you like going with the you don't read gimmick, but I mean not the shitty 66 Batman, but even the Jack Napier background with the original Batman one, Batman 89. He was still smart enough to get pretty high up in a criminal organization.
You are a little bit more ruthless than smart.
But still, he wasn't barely literate.
Like that Joker versus the Heath Ledger Joker is incredibly different.
Oh, of course. I'm not saying. I mean, there's a whole thing in the Batman universe where there's multiple Jokers over the years, but this one doesn't fit into any of the Joker background, and none of them are like a kind of dumb guy. I mean, one of the throughputs is
we did watch Suicide Squad.
Okay. But I don't think he's actively dumb. He's like a insane clown posse strip club owner.
Yeah, he dressed up as a SWAT guy at the end with the name Joker on it.
Yeah,
as a big reveal.
Yeah, okay. So maybe not every Joker but
what a great movie.
Oh God, fucking Suicide Squad was so shitty. We should do that on the show
about that Joker.
Yeah, we should do Suicide Squad on the show.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, if this movie was just called Clown or something, or Ersatz Bernie Getz, I think what that brings to the table doesn't do anything for the film. I mean, other than get it watched by a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, here's the problem is that the era that we live in now, which I highly recommend. I mean, it'll be probably old news by the time this comes out, and I don't even know. I mean, news is a weird word. A.O. Scott from the New York Times wrote this fantastic thing about having a superhero-free summer and what that means. And I highly recommend that. I thought it was very interesting. But the truth is like, yeah, if you want a movie to be made now, apparently it's got to be in a universe of some kind, an existing sort of comic book universe. And there's also sort of the potentially insidious thing of this legitimizing comic book movies in terms of everything's a comic book movie now, but it's just this is the drama comic book movie. This is the it's the Disney controls everything, so everything's a Disney character now. But I do think I do wonder with the history of this if it was like they had this script floating around and then like what if we made him the Joker and all of a sudden executives were like I'm listening.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think there's something to that. But I also like all the feints this movie does with some of that stuff in terms of looks like when initially it's like, well, I'm actually Bruce Wayne's brother. I couldn't help but think of that awful the last Daniel Craig James Bond movie that I'm forgetting now, not Skyfall, but the one after that.
Quantum of Solace?
No, the bad one. When Christoph Waltz's character, who's supposed to be Blofeld, the famous James Bond villain, is like, actually, I was sort of your brother the whole time in a twist that doesn't matter. But I thought the way they used that as a plot device in this worked pretty well because I was irritated at it. But then when it was revealed that might not be the case, I felt kind of bad for him.
Yeah, that was nice. I liked how, so it's not happening. And then at the end of the movie, he's holding this picture of his mom when she's young, and it says, I love your smile. JW or TW, sorry, Thomas Wayne. So it actually might be his brother. This actually might be a thing, and she just got gaslit by this rich dude. Mm-hmm. So that I did like that, but it didn't need to be the Waynes or Joker. That's an interesting story just in and of itself.
Yeah, but like I already said, I like that Thomas Wayne's an asshole in this because
that's nice.
Fuck the Waynes.
One of the things I enjoyed.
How about this? How about less Waynes, more Way-ins? Huh? Let's get a Scary Movie 8 going.
Oh, I
That's
get
what
it.
I say.
Like Damon. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I was referring to Marlon and Sean.
Well, the only Damon I get behind is Lindelof because all of his shows are
Boo.
great. One of the things I enjoyed about this on the I'm never going to get it in, so I'm going to say it now moment, that in the beginning of the film, he doesn't understand what's funny, and that's clear. But as he gets off of his medication, and this is the one part I bought, was that he starts actually laughing at the appropriate times to jokes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like he starts zeroing in on what should be funny. Which, if you've ever gone off of crazy meds, which I have on multiple occasions, your mind getting clearer again. It's kind of interesting to watch it happen with him, where he only laughs inappropriately at the front of the movie, and in the back, I mean, he's laughing inappropriately, but at things that would be a punchline, as dark as they are.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say that like the stuff he was writing in his joke book was
Really
it's a
good
play
jokes.
on words,
Yeah.
but it's not that funny, like throughout. And one of the ways this movie loses me a bit is the whole plot device that seems completely out of place in what 70s era, 70s 80s era, whatever this is, where like basically a viral video of him doing comedy
hated
shows up
that.
on this show. It didn't feel natural to the whole thing as well. And also the fact that like he takes shit for he tells a joke about like my mom said everyone's laughing, but no one's laughing now. Who's laughing now? Or so the whole joke was that no one is laughing at him. Then it cuts back to Robert De Niro, who's like, yeah, you got that right. Yeah, that was the joke.
Yeah.
That was the joke he told. Why are people,
So beyond that, the viral thing is one. The secondary part of that is cringe humor wasn't a thing in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of like watch this guy eat his balls on stage. I feel like that was much later. That was like a 90s thing.
The closer I would say that the closest thing to that is probably your David Letterman. And having like these weirdos on the show and stuff like that. But I don't think that's the vibe that show was supposed to be.
Oh, absolutely not.
And I think because I've heard reference to Robert De Niro's character, who I still like. I don't buy him as a Johnny Carson kind of guy.
Terrible casting.
Like people are like, well, he's supposed to be more like Joe Franklin, who is this like local guy in New York. And all I know about Joe Franklin is I remember Saturday Night Live with Billy Crystal used to do some bits about him and how dry and awful he was. But like his set and all that stuff is coded to be more like Johnny Carson, and he just doesn't have that vibe at all.
Yeah, really bad casting. They just went, he was in a bunch of these 70s movies, so let's cast him.
Yeah. What if he was in the King of Comedy? What if he was the Jerry Lewis character? Wouldn't that be crazy? But I did like him because generally like Murray is a decent guy, other than like this stupid viral comedy thing that's on there. I do think, when he's on the show with like in the lead up when Mark Maron's like, what an asshole this guy is. We should have him. She's like, no, he's fine. He's fine. You want to be called Joker? Fine, kid. You're the Joker. You seem nice enough.
Yeah. That's why he was going kind of Johnny Carson, corn belt kind of thing. Yeah. Which I'm fine with. You should have cast literally anybody else.
He doesn't have that. It's Robert De Niro, so he doesn't have that like warm and friendly vibe that you think a talk show host is going to have.
No, also, when you think comedy, you think De Niro. Yeah. And also,
Meet the Fuckers.
Yeah. Late night show out of New York. You know who's the best at that? De Niro.
De Niro, yes.
The name of the comedy club is Pogo's, which annoyed the shit out of me. Because that's John Wayne Gacy as Pogo the Clown.
Oh, God. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, how much do you hate this movie now? Because that's real dumb.
No, that's annoying. But
also, I didn't like how this movie, and I think it's the director because he's a comedy director, but this movie is a lot of it's got comedic timing in its cuts.
Yeah, and I think the parts where there's like some dark comedy, I think really work because of that. I think like the bit where the little guy can't get out of the room because he can't reach the chain. That's funny. Like it's terrifying and funny, but like that's also the headspace that Arthur is in at the moment. And I think that kind of exemplifies that.
Yeah, there was I don't have them written down, so I'm not going to finish this point. There was a couple spots that it's just the way that it cut was a little too comedic for what the scene was. No, the that scene I thought was really good from start to finish.
The bit where he tells when he's on the Murray show or whatever, and he tells the stupid joke, the like knock knock, who's there? Your son died in a drunk driving accident or whatever. the beats between that cuts to the guy in the band going wah wah with the trombone.
Well,
and
that's
then back to Dr. Ruth, played by Madeline Albright or whoever.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the
I thought
kind
that was
of
very
that's
well
the
done.
later half of the movie, which it's more effective. But it's kind of in the front end is where the cuts I'm more referring to. But I don't have them written down, so it doesn't matter. Here's a question for you. I know that you're a very wealthy person, so you'd probably know the answer to this.
Yes.
So in the course of a week, wealthy people go and see a Chaplin movie and then the Gay Mask of Zorro, or whatever the Gay Blade of Zorro. What the fuck are the Waynes doing at night?
People are busy. I mean, like, okay, the Chaplin thing, that was like a gala event. I think the Zorro, I think canonically is a movie that
That is that's
Sven wanted to see.
But why is a gala event watching old Chaplin?
It was something at the museum. I don't know. I do agree that it seemed a little odd. I did like the moment of him kind of watching Chaplin and laughing with these people, and then kind of having that moment of realizing of like, I hate everyone in here.
It was just weird because also having two kind of theatrical things happen. A very important question for you as well. How many?
The second movie may not have even happened. No, well, that was that whole thing from him.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
May not even happen. Which I love the idea of him actually being the Joker, eventually finding out who Batman is later and how it all happened, and it's like, that actually happened. My god.
No fuck.
Whoa.
I guess we can. The end of the film is, I'm arguing with myself right now. The amount of is it in his head or isn't it? There's not enough of a difference between the two to make me care.
I don't think you're supposed to question it. It's a thing like because I was thinking about this today, and this was a question I had when I first watched the movie, because I knew right away, and I don't claim to be any kind of super genius when this stuff comes up. I knew right away with the Zazie Beetz character. I'm like, well, this is all in his head. When she first shows up and like knows his name, I'm like, there's been no indication that they know each other. This seems like a phony baloney deal.
Yeah.
And having just watched this terrible Nicolas Cage movie called like A Score to Settle, where there's this reveal that like his son has been dead the whole time, and like people I was watching it with, like we all knew that, like, yeah, that's obvious. I don't know if the movie means it to be, and this is like a legitimate question, like I don't know if the movie means it to be a like Tyler Durden like whoa mind-blowing thing for the audience as much as it is for him. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's if we're supposed to be blown away, or if this is him just really coming to terms with like, even the shit that I've made up can no longer sustain me, because I didn't feel like it was a huge twist. I guess I feel like you at the end of Interstellar, where I'm like, yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't feel like a twist. Did you feel like it was a twist?
Which twist with Zazie?
Zazie Beetz. Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't the part I was talking about. No. That was just.
No, but I'm building. My point with that. My point with all that is that like, because we've spent so much time like in and out of his head.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me so much at the end when it was sort of in his head, but at the same time I was like, okay, just let's wrap it up now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the point. So you're saying the end of the movie is all in his head?
I'm saying everything from the like as soon as you see him in the cop car.
Yeah,
that's all in his head.
Okay, because
that's why I think it's funny that that's the way Batman's parents actually die.
Yeah, because that's the part that I'm a little like, I don't know if it's all in his head or not, but I also don't care, because if it's all in his head, the only difference is some guy standing on the top of a car dancing. If it's not in his head, the same thing's happening, except he's not standing at the back of the car dancing. Well, the riots
there's a demonstration going on.
Yeah.
But like, there's no indication of like how of it blowing up into this crazy violence that it does.
No, it's on the screen. You see it on TV, which I'm assuming is reliable narrator that well, it's not that it's rioting, but that they're getting, you know.
See, I guess for me, I took that all in his of that sort of being in his head a bit, because it's people paying attention to him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, like it's just as arguable that it's not.
Yeah.
Because it is people paying attention to him. This is a new story that happened. So that some of the stuff might be going down. I mean, fair enough that some of that stuff might be going down, but I just like the whole thing where people like recognize him and then like rescue him from the cop car and he stands up among them, because you also see when he goes to the gala event that he sees these people in clown stuff and he's like, yeah, all right. But it again seems like it's less this identification of, I'm with you. I'm this hurt person that has been let down by social structures and all this stuff around me, capitalism, whatever, if you want to get into that read of it. And rather than just identify that we're in this together, it's that, no, you see me. You see me, you know. And so then at the end, that's just exacerbated.
Well, leading up to it, so just going kind of back a step, it occurs to me that like maybe the whole like I think maybe even further back that argument could happen just because his Murray appearance could not have gone better for the way that he planned it out. You know how like he wants to like I mean although in his practice he shoots himself, but
Yeah, I was going to say he shoots himself in the head.
but still it's the same. Like he goes out, he slays, he walks out, he dances, he does like a balletic spin, kisses Dr. Ruth. Like he kills, he hits every beat. Murray plays into him like.
But then he starts talking. That doesn't go so well.
Not really. I mean, he bombed one joke. That's it. And then the audience starts booing. Like, you know, then if you think of him as like the WWE heel style, there's only one spot that the audience doesn't play right into his hands. He tries to tell one joke, I mean, and then everything else, it's boo, hiss. Yeah, it's Commedia dell'arte or, no, what's that shit called? Pantomime, like Panto Theater, where boo, he's behind the couch. The gun's in your face.
Yeah, but I guess I don't think he's being a heel necessarily. He's supposed to be heel necessarily. I think this is him being like, this is who I actually am. And then like kind of breaking down and so I mean that's the thing when his whole speech on the Murray show is a little like on the nose for me in terms of like laying out what the whole movie is supposed to be about, you know, where it's like you all let me down and society crumbled and all this stuff and I'm going to shoot you because of it.
And also when in the dressing room, it's like, I don't believe in anything.
Yeah.
The worst one of that is the opening of the movie or really close to the opening. And he's like, is it just me or is it getting crazier out there?
Yeah.
Wow. Well written, you fucking tosser.
But I almost think that like, one of the things that's so frustrating about it, and sort of this movie operates as a kind of could be argued as operates as kind of a cautionary tale because he's like, no, I'm not political and all this stuff, and he sort of sees himself removed from all that, but yet sees all these people dressed like him. You know what I mean? Like wearing these clowns or whatever, and experience the same things as him. Is that kind of like he can't see past his own alienation to connect with these people, or like his alienation is so deep seated that he thinks the only way out is through this violence and the stuff like that. And so like, yeah, that somehow being political is not a thing he can even consider.
Yeah. And also he kind of looks like Guy Fawkes and they really missed a beat there.
No, I think it's good that they did. Yeah. I don't need, they already screwed up V for Vendetta once. I don't need them to do it again.
I like that movie. So we miss a really.
We should do that one then. That would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it in memory. I don't know if I want to watch it again. It's one of those, I'm pretty sure if I watch it again, I'm not gonna. But I remember like it. Yeah. Mostly because Stephen Fry's in it.
You know what's funny is like I liked this more this time I think than when I first saw it in the theater. I still don't love it, but like I felt a little bit less when I saw it this time.
I liked it more the first time. I was just kind of I saw through it a little bit more this time, and not like a see through it. I just mean it didn't. It wasn't substantial to me this time. Mm-hmm. We missed an important part though in this movie. So Todd Phillips made this film, and he made this in what do you think? 2017?
No, it's like last year.
No, but I mean, so he made the movie in 2018 then. You know, it's a great song to put on a soundtrack in 2019, Todd Phillips. The music of known pederast Gary Glitter, Rock and Roll Part 2.
That was very bizarre to me.
What the fuck was... Because, I mean, good, cool enough scene. I like him dancing in the steps. Oh, that was one of the comedic parts where they go all Keystone Cops, where he goes mid-hump. The music is stopped and the cops interrupt him when he's mid-thrusting hump.
The cops are in the background just like, what is happening right now?
Comedic. But that Gary Glitter is like, he's like a known, like he's like Jared from Subway level pederast.
Oh, I mean, I think beyond Jared. Like he's been to jail and let out and went back.
Yeah. So,
but like,
why are you buying the rights to that song to put in your movie in 2019?
I was blown away by it when I first saw it, simply because like when the trailer happened, like the music was so like operatic during that, and like big like symphonic kind of score thing, and this is powerful scene, and then when it happens, it's fucking what's that song even called? Like Rock and Roll Chapter 2?
Rock and Roll Part 2, yeah.
Yeah. God, I was just like, I could not believe it. I was laughing my head off in the theater. And then the way, like, here's this music cut, and then it's just gone as soon as it showed up.
Yeah.
But the scene doesn't end. Like, and
no, he's mid-air hump.
Even happens before the cops, like, it goes back to, like, the kind of, like, Joker theme before the cops even, like, notice him. And I thought I know I overuse this word on the show, but, like, it was just bizarre. And I I have a hard time kind of placing it, even beyond the like, why would you use this song?
I can't even. I can't even. The other comedic use of music was he shoots Murray in the head, and they cut to an old school off-air symbol with like the old Native American head and the white screen with Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass Band's Little Spanish Flea playing, which is just funny. That's a comedic thing, and not in the time of the film that you needed funny.
Simpsons gag.
Yeah.
I guess I don't remember the song playing, but
no, it cuts to Little Spanish Flea. Yeah, why? This isn't not a serious part of the movie, but this is not a time for a comedic song break.
Yeah. Well, he's the Joker. He's the, finds crime funny.
No, I think it's just Todd Phillips hasn't quite grasped the whole drama thing yet, and for some reason went that way.
Yeah, it's exceedingly bizarre to me that this movie was made by Todd Phillips of the Hangover fame. Like, and I'm kind of curious what comes next for this guy, because he did Due Date as well. That movie was trash. But like, he's going to do an untitled Hulk Hogan biopic. So that's
good.
Exciting.
Yeah.
But no. According to IMDb too, there's going to be a Joker 2.
Yes, I heard rumblings of this. I don't know how the hell that could possibly happen.
Need to be a Joker 2.
No.
And in fact, like as much as it's been proven time and again that sequels don't necessarily ruin the original, I think it would lessen the original.
Yeah.
Like I don't want any more. I'm fine with this.
Oh, speaking of that, so at the end of the film, we see Arthur, and he's in presumably Arkham, talking to a psychiatrist, something that starts with a P, and they're having kind of a mirror to the first meeting with his social worker in the beginning of the film, and also this is how he went from he kind of upgraded from social worker to full-on psychiatrist. So like, he's doing better in the world. He's becoming a better criminal, and he murders her horribly enough that he's got blood on his feet. Is that what happens?
Yeah.
That's that needed to be there.
Well, I think it's just a way to show that he's too far gone. It's that there's no redemption for him. It's not like he's in this and can start again, or like that he's in the mental hospital and is back on his drugs, so he's fine.
But when they faded out,
has the care. I think it's going that like, no, he's now the Joker.
I guess that's just less interesting to me because they fade out what should be the ending of him on the car doing the dancing thing, the end of that. And
I because I kind of figured, again, this was a case where I figured that there's no way this is happening because no one actually cares about him.
But that's what I'm fine. That just feels like a better ending. I'm fine with it being up in the air or either way, you just decide either way. But I don't know, that mental institution, it just felt kind of tacked on. Like it felt like an after credits superhero thing, which thank God they didn't have another Batman show up or something. Yeah.
And I think that it does feel kind of disjointed because it comes back, because it really tries to mirror that opening scene, because here he is in another official institution kind of thing, but like in an actual institution, not just in a social worker's office, but a same sort of disinterested black woman dealing with him while he laughs. Although in the first part, he's laughing kind of uncontrollably, and this time he's laughing knowingly.
Yeah.
And the move from that to this like psychotic break, or this it's not even a psychotic break, but just another one of his visions, his leaving reality to have this dream that people actually care about him, felt a little jarring. Because I mean, even if he's supposed to be laughing at like this idea that he's laughing at how ridiculous he even thought that this idea that people would love him or he could connect with these people is, even though he totally could, but he keeps missing it. Like it seems it seems like, oh, okay, I guess there's more movie, and it doesn't really feel like a natural.
Yeah.
There's something about I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, there's something about the end of the movie that really starts to like drag, and great word. It's like you're like made your points and you're soaking in it. You're like, I'm not getting any more out of this, any more catharsis or. Yeah.
And there's that weird,
whatever fancy words I want to use.
There's that weird thing right after he kills her. He walks down the hall with blood on his feet and yada yada. But then you see him kind of running back and forth at the end of the hallway. I don't know if that's supposed to be a time thing or if he's just there forever and stuck in his own blah blah blah. He was just awkward and tacked on, and
it was wacky because he's the Joker now.
I guess
That's why it has that funny. That's why it's like, oh, look at the fancy the end thing. He's the Joker. I guess I don't know. That's another thing that struck wrong for me.
So here's
I know like the movie tries to, it's trying to do this sort of retro Hollywood thing, but the beginning calling back to the 70s thing, like you were saying, is really on the nose and like, oh, okay, but I don't even know what this at the end is supposed to do.
So here's another problem with this being the Joker is, so Bruce Wayne is there. He's probably 10 in that scene when his parents get killed.
Well, yeah, in the vision, yes.
Yeah. So he's got another 10 years to be Batman until he gets to be like fully Batman. If he's a young Batman, starts when he's 20. So he's going to be fighting a 55-year-old Joker. Yeah, that seems like a lifelong enemy. I mean, it's just...
It's got a good 30 years. Yeah.
Age-wise feels... Yeah, I don't know. The Joker doesn't feel like elderly to me.
But it's also, depending on the Joker creation myth you're going for, if it's something where he does get like dropped in acid or something like that, who knows what that does to a person's longevity in comic book world. Maybe it slows down cellular degeneration. Maybe it's almost like the Lazarus pit, but this one gives you a smile.
Yeah, maybe Joker 2, he can meet Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, I hope the Joker 2 is just explanations. That's what I hope that movie is.
Oh God. The only thing I would like about Joker 2 would be this, is that it's a different movie, like a different kind of style of film, and it's not Joaquin Phoenix, even though I love Joaquin Phoenix. Like, it's just a different Joker backstory. Like, in that there's like six...
Actually, I would 100% support that.
Kind of anthology style. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, if it's just like, it's like a James Bond thing where there's just a bunch of different James Bonds.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, what if this was the Joker? And, some can be like, oh, here's this like big attempt at social commentary, or something's like, what if a guy like, found got a ring like the Green Lantern from an alien, but this one turned him into a lunatic that loves.
Yeah, something really, just crime. Really dumb. Yeah. Just, or do like the actual, the other backstories it'd be interesting. Yeah. I think anything else on the Joker or Joker?
Yeah, just watch the Martin Scorsese movies, I guess, really.
Yeah, do that. And
they're better. I mean, this was an interesting movie, and it was not what I expected. As much as I'm tired of superhero movies, I like that they try to do something different. I'd rather not see everything become a superhero movie, but it was better than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I'm ragging on it, I hate because I could have loved. It's the letdown factor.
It's so much worse being frustrated by a movie.
Yeah,
I think, than just being like. Because I think again on the show, there's movies where like, okay, yeah, this is just this boilerplate. I always think of Reign of Fire, of just like, yeah, this is just dumb and fine, whatever. But then you have these movies that are just so close and are just, wow, particularly when people tell you that they're great. And then you're like, why do you think that?
Yeah, I'm just waiting forward to Todd Phillips' Clayface.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good. Make him but it's actually the story of Marlon Brando.
Yeah. Man-Bat.
Yeah, good stuff.
So, John, remember when we were young and there was this series of plucky movies that everybody enjoyed? Well, if you were a guy that's now aged 30 through 50, called The Star Wars.
I seem to remember those, yeah.
Yeah, well, 6, 7, 8, like 9 movies later, they put out this steaming pile of fan fiction called The Rise of Skywalker. And
yeah, they did.
And we're going to talk about that next time on the show.
Can we watch the prequels instead? Is that what we can do?
I mean, I have pitched that as an episode, but the thing is,
you watch Glenn Danzig's Veronica or whatever that was. Like,
I mean, I don't
can we
know.
Just can I die in a ditch while you crush my skull with a claw hammer?
I mean, none of these have to be mutually exclusive. I can crush your skull in with a claw hammer while watching Veronica.
Okay.
But if it makes you feel any better, I'm going to have seen Rise of Skywalker twice. So, but I mean, anyway, I think you're really good.
This will be my first foray into this. And I was I was very much like I just don't care. Star Wars has beaten me. I just don't. I used to love Star Wars. Now I just don't give a shit anymore. So
The one thing that you're going to like about this, and I'm saying it right now, and maybe it's going to add to my pitch of us doing the prequels, is it's going to make you like the prequels better. And not because
I talked about how Rise of Skywalker kind of did in a way that will fall apart as soon as I start watching them. But
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, all right. So we're doing Rise of Skywalker. It's going to be great. You're really going to like it. I can't wait for a couple of the things that happen there. You're going to love it.
Actually, salute to you for watching more than once. You're willing to put your already liquefying brain under more pressure.
I mean, we're going to talk about it next week, but when I was in high school, and this is when I first started to develop some anxiety stuff. I used to play A New Hope on my VCR almost every night to go to sleep. Like Star Wars meant the world to me.
Oh yeah,
and I've had a lot taken away from me, and this was a painful thing.
There's your Joker too. Is the Joker being Arthur Fleck? This some version of Arthur Fleck loving Star Wars, and then just totally
perfect.
becoming like an incel. Yeah. Actually, make an incel murderer movie, but this time it's the Joker.
Yeah, I also forgot to make the joke about him carving out that little wooden boy in that one scene. Oh no, that's a different Arthur. Well, it's the Tick, but anyway, I was going to make a dumb joke. So we're going to watch Rise of Skywalker for next time. You can find us on Twitter at JawsPod, Facebook, John and Alex Hate Stuff. You can call in if you want to leave a message for us about your thoughts on things. 503.
Look, there's some numbers. Just keep dialing them.
Well, here's the thing is, I hit the button that I thought was my contacts on my phone. Turns out that was just the phone button. Where is contacts? Okay, I'm going to guess. It's 503-575-9118, but I'm not entirely sure, so you may have to edit that out.
Or not.
503-575-9118. Fuck yeah. Alex, coming in clutch. So if you want to leave some thoughts on Rise of Skywalker or just make fun of us or something, go for that. And wait, bye.
We'll go close out the show like a gentleman.
Well, this has been an episode of John and Alex Hate Stuff. I've been Alex, and that's been John. Wink.